South Africa's people, black South Africans, who have survived everything, who have fought and who have bled and who have sacrificed to end apartheid, you know something is wrong with this. You can feel that there's something wrong with this. Yes, the anger is real, the economic pain is real, but the diagnosis, you know very well the diagnosis is wrong. You know that you're being shown the wrong enemy. So what happens when the South African working class looks up from fighting against the Zimbabwean immigrant and looks at the actual structure that produced their poverty, that maintains their poverty and has maintained their poverty through 30 years of alleged liberation, right? What happens when they connect the dots, when they connect the man who's deporting the African immigrants from South Africa, connect him to the people who are stopping you from owning your own country's mines, your country's own minerals, your country's own resources? What happens when the continental solidarity that is being undermined by this campaign gets rebuilt, gets repaired? When South Africans and Zimbabweans and Nigerians and Mozambicans all recognize that they're being played against each other by the same people who played them against each other for over a century. I can tell you that the people who are doing this, the people who are managing this, the arsonists who are running this campaign, they know that that's coming. They know that that's coming. That's why they're moving so fast. That's why the deportations are accelerating. That's why the immigration legislation is being pushed through, why it's being rushed through. That's why the campaign is intensifying, even as there's all of this backlash against South Africa online. Because the backlash is what they want. They want to cut you off, they want to alienate you, they want to estrange you from the rest of the continent. They need to do it fast. Because as I said, everyone is also still thinking about Ibrahim Traore. Everyone has in their imagination the possibility of what happens when African countries stand up for themselves, when you have leaders that stand up for themselves and stand up for their people. When one country becomes two countries, becomes three countries, and they form an alliance, and they all work together to try to protect each other and build each other up. What happens when that happens? What happens if that spreads across the whole continent? That's in the African imagination right now, or it should be anyway. Like I say, I'm an outsider, what do I know? But that should be what you're thinking about. And that's what they're afraid you're thinking about. So they're trying to seize control, as much control as they can, and to isolate you.